So these are a pair of AirPods Max replicas from a relatively new seller. But I'm actually not allowed to tell you how good they are. So the last AirPod replica video I uploaded was taken down because somebody up there didn't like it. I was trying to turn a new leaf anyways and start reviewing more interesting products besides AirPod replicas. So from now on, the AirPod replica reviews you see from my channel, if any, are going to be focused a little more on the differences between rep and retail and how you could avoid being scammed. No seller links, no promoting. If you want to know, you know where to ask. I got something special to tell you later on as well, but for now, let's just start unpacking. Immediately I'm seeing a few call out points though, as in how to not get scammed by this particular model. For example, you can see the plastic wrap around here is good. It's well done, it's straight, but around the edges, it's wrinkled. You can see the bubbles. You should never see that kind of stuff on real AirPods or AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, that kind of packaging. So if you see this, it's fake. It's still pretty good. It's just not Apple level good. The box is also very tightly sealed, just like the retail ones, but I'm already noticing a little big flaw right there. Just say Apple Inc. It says Apple INE. If you see any typos on the box or the stickers or the packaging, red flag, it's a fake. Don't buy it. Okay, let's open these up now. And one thing is, on retail, at least the ones I've seen, the sticker reaches all the way to the side. This one doesn't. So that's another thing to watch out for when you're buying AirPods Max. Now, a lot of the pull tabs are fake. It just comes off by itself. This one, that feels great. So, first things first, plastic is crinkled. I don't think that should happen on retail AirPods Max. Lift out the AirPods. And one thing I have definitely noticed is they have the paper with this one. Okay, here's the case. It's the mesh. First impressions, if someone told me these were retail AirPods Max, I would not doubt them whatsoever. Those look amazing. It looks a lot better in real life than on the camera. Now, one big tell-apart point is the aluminum ear cups. On retail AirPods Max, these are made of aluminum and should be cold to the touch. These are made of some sort of coated plastic. It does feel a bit cool, but I'm guessing that retail ones will feel a bit cooler. And on retail AirPods Max, the mesh up here is supposedly a bit firm, a bit stiff. But on these, it's very elastic. I do like the feel of it, but it might be worth testing out a bit if you're buying used AirPods Max to see if it feels stiffer or more elastic. All the buttons, lights, and holes on the earbuds look pretty much just like retail. The buttons all work properly, but unlike retail ones, these make sounds when they spin and click, so that's another thing you should check. Retail ones should not make clicking sounds. But this kind of minor stuff can be fixed by the factories at any given time, so it's not a reliable indicator of whether it's real or not. The ear cups do come off magnetically just like retails, and it feels very satisfying to slap them on and off. These are pretty high quality and even have the Apple text on the inside that look pretty close to the real deal, but what you should be looking at are actually the screws on the side. All of these little screws should be pentalobe screws and should be almost flush with the surface. These, however, are normal plus-shaped screws and are placed much deeper inside the ear cup. Thankfully, this means that we could easily remove them using a normal Phillips screwdriver and explore the insides. As you can see, the layout is completely different from retail AirPods Max. One big difference being that the speaker is actually attached to the top part, unlike the real ones, which have the speaker attached to the larger ear cup itself. If we look a little closer, we could see that it has a Bluetooth 8892E chipset, which offers basic functionality such as noise cancellation, transparency mode, all that stuff. It's a bit on the budget side, but it does the job pretty well. I haven't seen any AirPods Max replicas with the more sophisticated Aero chipset just yet, but we'll probably see more of these in the future, which will probably have a few differences from the batch I've got right now. Now, if you're buying these used but don't have an opportunity to disassemble them, check this part. On retail AirPods Max, there are two little holes up here on both sides that you could insert a pin into to remove the headband. It's a pretty complex mechanism, and I don't think the replica makers will ever add this, so this is one of the easiest ways to tell apart fakes and retails. See if the hole, if any, can be used to detach the headband. A quick way to test the dimensions is to fit a case on the thing and see if it fits correctly. Usually the replicas are a tiny bit bigger than retail, so cases don't fit very well. But these, they do fit, and quite well at that. Let's try this as well. The fact that they were able to get the dimensions down to a T less than 9 months after the release of this thing is a little bit unnerving. And now to functionality. These have copied the pop-up connection more or less flawlessly. You see right here even has the battery, and if we go into the settings, we can see that everything is more or less correct. They even have the serial number which matches the one on the headphones, which is almost scary again. I am not seeing the spatial audio toggle switch though. I heard through the grapevine that some batches may soon have that option, but there isn't a built-in spatial audio toggle here just yet. The logo on the volume slider is correct, by the way, and it is adjusted by what you do right here. there's really not much to show in the settings except for the fact that it is the same. You can change the name. These kinds of mode changes does work. You could do everything pretty much the same as the retail ones. If you go into the About page, you can see that it does have an entire page dedicated to these AirPods Max. So this method, while it was accurate for some of the previous versions, doesn't work anymore. You could still see it. Everything pops up as it should. So, a little bit of a backstory. Recently I was really busy with college stuff and couldn't really work on any videos for a long time. But thanks to that, I was able to test these out for a really long time. And here are a few opinions that I had about these. First of all, the audio quality on these is quite nice. The ear cups actually don't provide as much isolation as the AirPod Pros with rubber ear tips, but it still gives you a good feeling where you could be immersed in the music. The overall sound balance is done nicely and it holds decently in the bass section. It even has the in-ear sensors, although it only works on the left side. As you can see right here, it does have the in-ear sensor on both sides, so I got no idea why it only works on one, but it does seem to be a pretty common issue. Maybe they only put in one sensor to save costs. Now, I know the part you'd be most interested in is active noise cancellation and transparency mode, and I will speak about that later. But before I do, I need to mention the battery life on these, which was surprising. I previously mentioned that these, now that they have much more space, are packing much bigger batteries than before, and pack it they did. These, when played on loud volume, non-stop, last over 21 hours with noise cancellation on, which is actually the same as retail AirPods Max. This long battery life makes it a lot more comfortable for me to use them in long sessions, unlike some of the previous ones that I'd be a bit worried when I take them outside without charging. I found myself listening to long podcasts or online courses with them, like the ones from DataCat, which is today's sponsor. It's an online learning website like Khan Academy or edX, but focused a lot deeper on data. So if you're interested in something like data analyzing, machine learning, or something a little more general like programming, and wanted some deeper, more sophisticated courses to learn than all the free ones out there, I think this is the place for you. And if this kind of talk bored you already, you could skip it now, because this isn't the place for people who aren't interested in data. But if you are, I think you'll really like it here. There are plenty of courses to dive into, and you can study all at your own pace and skill level. You can run it wherever you are because it runs straight from the browser. And the courses are taught by skilled professionals from companies like Amazon, Spotify, Facebook, Nike, AIG, and this place that I never heard of before. There's lots of interactive stuff, so you aren't just sitting down in front of a computer and writing down what they're saying. You're actually getting hands-on experience. If you want to help support me, you could use my link down in the description, try out part of the courses for yourself, and see how you like it. And now, back to the review. The audio quality on these is pretty nice in general. The ear cups don't offer the best noise isolation, but it is a bit comfier on the ears than the type of earbuds with rubber ear tips that go straight into your ear canal. Unfortunately, the lack of isolation on these ear cups means that the noise cancelling and transparency mode isn't as good as it could be. More details about this a little later though. And as usual, I've made a little simulation of how the noise cancellation and transparency mode sounds like on these, so have a look. So if you've been listening to some of my previous comparisons, especially the V4.5, which is taken down now, you'll notice that the effects of the noise cancellation and transparency mode isn't all that good. And here's the reason why. Ear cushions. The reason for the lack of noise blocking seems to be because these are made differently from the Apple ones. Of course, when you're selling a pair of ear cushions for $70, you could put a lot of premium materials and engineering into it. But when the entire thing costs only $99, you gotta shave costs off somewhere. And it's visible right here on the ear cushions. The replica makers have created the mesh down to a T, and it looks very much like the real thing. But the foam inside seems to be a little bit lacking. You could feel a bit of empty space inside, which is what I believe is causing the audio leak. Audio leaking in from the outside that cancels out some of the noise canceling that the headphones itself is doing. It's a bit disappointing, but that's how it is. A great member of the AirReps Discord server actually purchased retail AirPods Max ear cushions and swapped them out with these, and according to them, it improved the noise cancellation significantly. A big price to pay for better noise cancellation, but it is quite interesting how just a bit of foam can make such a big difference in the quality of these headphones. So, final thoughts. These replicas are getting very, very close in terms of visuals, but the software still needs some work. I'm finding that the replica market nowadays is getting a little bit stagnant. Not a lot of variety or exciting new additions, which is a little bit unfortunate. And as I explained earlier, I will be stepping down a bit from reviewing replicas from now on, but I will still try to create the kind of content that you guys like and appreciate the most. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned because now I have lots of free time to make more videos, which is where I'll be seeing you next.